Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Podcast Daily. It is Wednesday, and it is a Wilson Wednesday. We are bringing in a special guest for the first time on the show. That's Bill Landis, and I'm Austin Ward, and we've got current new Tulsa head coach Kevin Wilson. He used to coach as the offensive coordinator at Ohio State for 6 years, and he's ready to move on. He is moving on. Just got off the field with a workout with the Hurricanes down there. Kevin, thanks for joining us. Hope everything is going well in this transition for you.
Yeah, appreciate it. It's been hectic. It's been fun, but good to be with you guys. Took 6 years to finally make the show. So I had to leave you on the show. I would have done that a long time ago to get the airtime. You should have told me.
I think I might have mentioned that to Jerry, but he's the gatekeeper. He's trying to keep Kevin Wilson and all the secrets tucked away.
He's got it locked down. It's like Fort Knox over there, man. It's on lockdown. So
okay, well now you're free from that. You can just give us an exit interview. I guess you've been on the job for 6-7 weeks there with Tulsa, a couple of that where you were, splitting the time with Ohio State and getting ready for the college football playoff. But this has been a long time coming for you. When this opportunity started presenting itself and you had to weigh, is this where you wanted to go to Tulsa? Do I like just staying in Columbus and being with Toby and, playing golf here, calling plays and working with Ryan Day? What was the decision process for you like?
Well, it was, I had not, when I came over 6 years ago, first of all, it was a phenomenal opportunity I had with Coach Meyer, and was very fortunate. I think through the years, I've been around some great coaches, but to be exposed to the culture of Ohio State, the expectation of the program. And of course, I came from Oklahoma, so I've been a part of a premier program like that before, but, just being around Coach Mick and the way workouts go, or Coach Day's thoughts on practice, Coach Meyer's thoughts on practice, on recruiting. I did not bring in exactly everything we did here, but there's so many things we did I thought were outstanding. I wish I would have known at an earlier age. So one, very blessed to have been at Ohio State. Now, was approached this year by a couple different schools, and last year a couple times. Didn't know if I'd get the opportunity. We're kind of getting old enough that you're not the young, shiny thing anymore. So there's a little bit of that going on. But really felt, I'd been an offense coordinator a long time previously through my times with Coach Walker and with Coach Stoops for over 20 years. I'd been the head coach in Indiana. Thought we really did a great job over there. Don't get a lot of credit for the work we did in a difficult situation. And thought we built a pretty solid, strong program. And didn't want to do this job because I felt I wanted to show I could do it. I just thought I had the skill set to lead a program one more time. And It's down here in the state that I know. Got great rapport within the state. 9 years I coached at OU in Oklahoma. So hard to leave Columbus, especially. I still get a little. I just there this past weekend. Still get a little teary-eyed pulling out the driveway, and got some great neighbors. And I actually had a chance to watch a little bit of Monday morning's workout with the team. Want to get back in and not see the guys, but just be around the place. So it's a special place, but I'm very grateful for this opportunity and very blessed to have it. At the same time, very touched by those 6 years we spent in Columbus. They were wonderful times.
That thumbprint still work, Kevin, to get into the water? You have to have somebody let you in.
I had somebody let me in, and then I walked up the door and tried it. It still works, so don't tell anybody. I still got access. I guess I'm busted now.
Yeah, if you end up on Ohio State's schedule anytime soon, maybe we'll have to do something about that. But otherwise, I think you're good. You mentioned 6 years here, Kevin. When you first came here in 2017, I don't know how immediately you start thinking about the future and what could come after that once you set yourself up with this kind of situation at Ohio State. But the fact that you were here 6 years, is that longer than you thought you'd be at Ohio State? About what you thought when you got here? Just how did that kind of play out for you?
I didn't. I've never been one to chase the jobs. I've never been one with the agent, put my name out there, get all the articles written about you. I had a great opportunity last year to be a coordinator at a legitimate program and turned it down. Didn't think it was right for my family. And never made the airways because I didn't need a pay raise. I didn't need a job title. I was just, I had a chance to visit with Coach Day after the season ended. Having been a head coach, I tried to be the best assistant coach I could be for Coach Meyer and for Coach Day. So I didn't, if you had ideas, you shared them. If you had thoughts, you shared them. But when they said, "Here's what we're doing," and you're one of the guys that are out there doing it, you go do it the best you can. So I tried to be a great teammate, try to be a great team leader, try to make it not about me. I think in my time, I think every time I made things about me, I always seemed the good Lord had a way of humbling me. And when it was about others, and you work hard and you do your job and you put others first and do what you're supposed to, I think sometimes you get rewarded on the back end a little bit better. So I didn't have a timeline. I didn't know if I'd get the opportunity again. I didn't take the job thinking I would get an opportunity again. I just knew it'd be a great opportunity to coach at the Ohio State University. And it was 6 great years, and a lot of success, a lot of things we're proud of. I know we came up short sometimes on some things we wish we could have done better, but man, there were 6 special years, a lot of great friends, a lot of special players, and a lot of great people in the Woody that you work with every day. And quite honestly, some of the best people in the industry do the media. You guys got a chance to connect with and seldom do we talk about that. But coaches that say they don't follow the media are full of it. We all do. And quite honestly, all media guys are fans. You, not just you two guys. We got great media that cover the Buckeyes because it's a special place, and you guys are definitely a part of it.
Wow, we weren't hoping for that, but what a delightful turn of events.
It was true.
Well, thank you for saying so, Kevin. What is this version, as you mentioned, the success of what you've built at Indiana? You've done this before and built a program and dealt with challenges and worked through that and overcome adversity. And then you talked about the Ohio State culture and learning and growing for 6 years there with Urban and Ryan and Mick and others. So what is Tulsa getting out of Kevin Wilson now that may have been different from what Ohio State had or what Indiana had before that?
Well, my wife says I got my balance and my step back, so I've got a lot. I don't think we're working hard because one of Corey Dennis asked me a few years ago was it what I would think was I considering retiring when Toby graduated, and I said I'm going to retire the first day that I'm working. The first day this becomes work, I'm out of here. And it's been hectic getting through the bowl game. I thought Coach Day and Gene Smith and our administration here with Rick Dixon, our AD, really did a good job of helping me kind of do both. I was here not recruiting when our staff at Ohio State was out recruiting. I was here recruiting our team, getting to know our team and trying to keep everybody stable and not jump ship and kind of hang in there. For the most part, we did a good job with that. When we got back in Columbus, it was full throttle, all about the bowl game. As we came up short, I will say this, that's one of the few times, typically in the years, I'm always kind of teary-eyed, like saying goodbye to the guys. Kind of like Groundhog Day. I like Tuesday practices over and over and over, the same guys. But that was one of the few times after a season, not because I was going to Tulsa, I was just never more proud of, we had the injury with Cade and the way Mitch played that game. And G was knocked out and Joe Royer stepped up. And just to watch our team battle so hard, come up short, but just a phenomenal battle. And I don't like losing, and it's not good that we lost. But gosh dang, I was just proud of all the effort and that went into that performance that was slightly short. So that being said, I think as we wrapped up there, and attention got turned full throttle here. I think the transfer portal, NIL, it forces you to spend more time and get to know your kids better and where they're from, what they're about, what they want to be, and what's their family about. And Coach Meyer was always big when I got there. He said, coaching requires the 4-letter word TIME. It takes time. And in this day and age, it takes time to, I don't think I've earned all the trust of this team because it takes time to get it. But we're trying hard to be there for our team and show them that we care about them. We're going to help them be the best players they can. But also, this is a great degree here. Trying to get these guys on board to make sure we're walking here with a Tulsa degree and set for life. I think I'm much better as far as just time with the kids, getting to connect with them. I think we did a much better job here initially of trying to see what we had so we could gauge how to go recruit. But then also, as we saw what we had, I think we started working, trying to build a culture and some things I got from Coach Mick and Coach Meyer and Coach Day of how we want to embrace our work habits and our culture. And I thought recruiting was a little bit, I said, it was like going to the flea market here at the end of the year. You have to be careful what we're buying. But we were able, I think, to find some good purchases here late recruiting. But I just feel much better about the staff we put together, not being rushed to do things, being very deliberate, taking time to try to connect with our people. And then we got a great community here, a great school, and I kind of feel connected within this community with my time from Oklahoma. I've been very well received, and I'm very grateful for that. I think the players have received us very well, and I think the community school has received me and the staff we put together really well. So I'm excited. I mean, it's going to be a lot of work and challenging, but I'm excited, ready to roll.
There's always some treasures at the flea market. I mean, that's
no doubt. I mean,
you can't know if you don't go shopping.
Yeah, and then I went shopping, and sometimes I shook my head and said, "No, I don't think so." And whether it be, I thought that kid's skill set maybe socially or academically or football wise. So we try to stay within the region, and we try not to recruit highlight tapes. That's an old Mark Bantoni deal. They don't just watch the highlights. Try to do some research and make sure you know what you're getting. But I thought we did a decent job. And my dad always stopped at the flea market, so I say that with all respect now. Okay, Austin.
I love it. It's where the deals are.
No doubt.
Kevin, you always spoke pretty candidly when you were here about your desire to win a national championship, and I know you've been close and on that stage several times. I don't mean this to come off the wrong way, because I know that at Tulsa you're going to compete for championships. You strive to compete for championships, but there's only a select handful of programs across the sport that are expected to contend for national championships, and you were at one of them. How much did that kind of weigh on your decision whether or not to leave Ohio State now, or even in the past when you knew you would be in a position to kind of chase that every year?
Yeah, it was something that you chased, and it was something that, I think selfishly that you want it more for your players and for your fan base than for you. And what you did, we've coached a lot and had a lot of quote unquote teams that look good, and you can talk about your record. I mean, that's an accolade that would be nice to have, but right now it hadn't happened, and you have to accept that. I think, to me, the desire to lead a program was stronger than the desire to have a chance to play for the national title. Now, I think in the last 7 of the last 8 years, the conference champion of our conference would make the 12 team playoff. So if we're fortunate enough to be one of those teams, maybe we can get that hump. But that's going to be difficult. I mean, our job right now is one, just connect with these kids, help them learn to be the best players, best men, and get a degree from here. And we'll see what kind of team we can build. But Bill, I remember the first time we lost one at Oklahoma. We were playing really well at Oklahoma. I remember Coach Stoops just quietly one day said, "Man, I was thinking about you and Coach Sumlin. You don't get this opportunity to play for a national championship every year. Kind of be great for you guys to get one." And it always hit me when he said that. Like, hey, we didn't get that one. Mm-hmm. And then we had a few chances. Like I say, we were in the championship game with Bama, and of course we lost to Clemson and Georgia. So 3 of those 6 years we were in the hunt. But unfortunately, we just weren't able to get it done as a team to get that reward.
Kevin, when you look at the way Ryan responded to filling your position with Keenan Bailey taking over the tight ends and Brian Hartline getting maybe we'll see what happens with the play calling. I know they're going to work through that in spring. I don't want to get ahead of anything, but I guess it's going to take 2 guys to replace you, right? Is that the way that this works?
No. I think everybody makes a big deal, I think, about the play calling. I mean, Coach Day's always kind of managed everything, but it's kind of always been a collective group. I mean, don't undervalue what Tony Alford and Justin Fry bring, whether it be in between a drive or just during the week as you're preparing and going through things. Hey, how about we widen this split? How about we tighten this? I mean, all of the things, the intricacies that go into the spacing and timing and the performance of the offense. So it's a total group effort. I've always been in offenses where it's been that way. When I came there, Coach Myers' challenge when I got there, he said our offensive room is disjointed, and I need you to kind of bring it together. And I remember a few months later, he said, "Why do you keep asking everybody all these questions? Why don't you just tell them what to do?" I said, "Well, I'm trying to bring everybody together." So, hey, hey, what do you think? How about this? What do you think about that? But what it does, it gets everyone, you'll feel like there's a little bit of ownership in there, And so that being said, Keenan's been with us a long time. He actually, kind of spent a fair amount last year with the offensive line with me because he'd been a skill guy. I think he wanted to kind of grow to learn a little bit more about, the run game and the blocking and all that. And he's a great young coach. He'll do a great job with the position. He's got a solid group coach. So very much everybody talks about recruiting and, all the 5-star recruits you get, those tight ends playing this week coming up in the Pro Bowl and in Super Bowl are 2- and 3-star recruits. The tight end is such a developmental position that sometimes, it's hard to recruit one Ohio State because it's not a glamour guy. Sometimes it's really that developmental guy.
Right.
And that's where guys like Cade, or like G and Joe are doing, developing what Mitch Rossi did, the way Luke Farrell and Jake Hausman. It's such a Jeremy Rucker was a high-end recruit, but still developed phenomenally. Keenan will do a great job with that, but it's a developmental position. And then, Brian's been there long enough, and with he and Coach Dan, I'm sure they're going to lead on Justin quite a bit with the run, his O-line and the run game as they put all together. So, whatever the titles are, we've had a bunch of titles at the end. It's a phenomenal group that I took a lot of pride in because we worked well together. And I think that's one of the reasons why we had great players. Yeah. But we adapted, and Ryan, we all adapted every year to play the strength of the quarterback, to play to the strength of the offensive line. Because I've always said, if you can't block it and the quarterback can't do it, you don't run that play. And we've done a great job, I think, tweaking each year, strengths and weaknesses. Statistically always been, but again, the greatest stat is the championships, and the premier stat, Bill, is the national championship. And we haven't been able to get that one done yet. So I pull for those guys as they go forward. They'll have some titles, but it's a phenomenal group, and Ryan's a tremendous leader. So they're going to be in phenomenal shape.
Kevin, I think I would be remiss if I did not ask you an offensive line question while we have you here. So I'm going to ask you about Josh Fryer, a guy I know that you recruited to come to Ohio State, who's going to step in to a starting role here. We don't know if it's going to be left tackle, right tackle. We saw him a little bit last year in the Indiana game. Thought he played really well in that game. What do you think the prospects are for Josh now that he's stepping up into a starting position?
Great one. I appreciate the O-line question. Let me tell you how important O-line is. Counting myself, we have 4 O-line coaches here. Right?
Love that.
Our running back coach played O-line at Kansas. Our tight end coach played O-line at Florida State. And our O-line coach played O-line at West Virginia. So it's all about the big boys up front. Trust me.
And you didn't bring Bill down to cover that offensive line? That would have been number 5.
But anyway, Josh, I remember when I saw him in high school, much like when I saw DeJuan Jones. I saw him play basketball. I saw a big guy that could play above the rim and run and jump. And for that size, still, you need the weight room development and you need football development as you grow. Indiana is a state that doesn't have spring football. Sometimes they play a short season because they start the basketball tournament so soon. So some of those guys are a little bit underdeveloped. But Josh was always a very athletic guy. That's why we played him at tight end in our big boy package. He's got really good feet. I think he's I think he sets up to be one of the leaders. He'll need to have a great all season. He continues to just physically mature to be that consistent 12, 13, 14, 15 game old lineman. That's a lot of wear and tear on your body. So he needs a great all season. But athletically, I thought he had a chance to be one of those guys that was going to be a pro player. So the ball's in his court. Donovan Jackson's going to be a tremendous player. I think Zen is the same way. Mikowski, I think I just say his last name.
Mahowski.
Yeah, Mahowski. Yep. Yeah. I just say he's anyway. And so those guys are athletic. That's the thing. Again, let's go back to that O-line deal. O-line's a developmental position. You bring 4 and 5 star guys, they don't play the first year, second year. They're a flop. They're not. Josh Myers was a 5-star, didn't play for 2 years. He comes out as a second-round draft pick and starts as a rookie in the NFL. It takes time from college. Seldom do you see the high school kid come in and really able to play that level at that position and impact that first year. It takes 2 years, 3 years. I think Josh is on track. He needs to have a big year for him. I think his father, a former Bill Mallory offensive lineman, former coach. So he's a coach's kid. And true story, when Toby Wilson was in Indiana as a junior high player, he and Josh Fryer wrestled for the junior high state championship in Indiana.
Ooh.
Do you know who won that battle?
Sounds like the Toad Bader.
Josh Fryer did. So Toby came in second in the state of Indiana. Now, let me tell you this one. You know how many people were in the heavyweight classification that year?
2.
So Toby came in second. That's my boy. That's my guy. We were going through some stuff in the house and found a picture of him and Fryer on the stage. Just two of them laughing. And so anyway, but yeah, I expect Josh to have a great, great year for those guys.
I thought that story was going to have a happy ending for the Wilson.
Nah,
yeah, me too.
That's my boy, man. He's my guy.
So I know Bill and I could speak to you, Kevin, for hours. We would love to, but we know you have a lot of other things to do. But before you go back to workouts there with Tulsa, what will be the first thing that comes to mind when you when you did reflect on 6 years in Columbus and at Ohio State? I'm sure that's a flood of memories, but what stands out most gratifying, most memorable moment or anything for you throughout this tenure?
Yeah, I just think you go back and similar to Oklahoma, you got two great programs. I don't think people understand not just the talent of the football team, but the quality of people. Just whether it be the players you're interacting with every day, their families, the staff, the support staff, the cafeteria people, the people working in the building. It's just you guys in the media. We complimented you guys today. I mean, just across the board, just the character and quality. And it starts with the administration. It starts with Gene Smith. And that's not, suck up trying to get a pay raise. Tell them, I mean, you just, you got great schools that have great leadership, they have great tradition, they attract the best. And I think, when you're on the outside, you say, man, they've got a lot of good players. They got talent over there. Just, man, look how lucky they've got all these good players. I don't think people realize how good the people are and then how passionate and how hard they work for the success of that program. There's a lot of pride in that building from whether it be the field people, nutrition, medical, academic support, our psychological, mental groups that help our players. There's just a lot of talented people. I just think how fortunate you were to be a part of a program that not just a great program, guys, but man, just great people. And just so thankful to have those great relationships. And most importantly, the relationship with the players. I mean, I had some kids you love to death, some great kids you got to coach, and proud of those cats. Every tight end that was a scholarship guy in my time graduated and went to the NFL. So, Urban said, hey, your job is win every game, graduate every player, go to the NFL, don't get in trouble. Good luck. That's your job. Well, I kind of like, I got, and I got all those guys that walked across that stage with the diploma, and they were drafted as free agent tight ends. And a lot of respect and appreciation for what those men gave me and my family. A lot of love for those guys.
Yep. I know that they will be watching closely at Tulsa. And as I told you before the Peach Bowl, the first college football game that I ever went to was in Skelly Stadium. I know that the name has now changed. I didn't know that until today, I guess. But
it's Chapman Field at Skelly Stadium. So it's still Skelly Stadium. Yeah.
Still in there. But I grew up in Tulsa. That's where I started falling in love with college football. So, I'll be watching closely, and then you've got my phone number. So just send me a nice big box of quarter zips, and we'll be supporting Tulsa from afar.
I love it. And you guys, appreciate you guys do a great job. And no, everybody's always trying to scoop a story, but again, a special program up there. You guys are awesome and appreciate you and glad to be with you and wish you nothing but the best. And let's go. Rain Kane. We said it's Rain Kane. Let's go, man.
Rain Kane. All right. That wasn't it when I was growing up. I just had go TU. That was pretty easy. But I was also
you guys some fancy. I'm having it's the Golden Hurricane. We're singular. And the name came about because they wanted to name this. I think wanted to name ourselves the Golden Tornadoes, and at that time Georgia Tech had that name back in the 20s. So they went for the Hurricane, I guess. So
because there's not a lot of bodies of water to whip up a hurricane.
I thought it was from the Dust Bowl. I thought it was a Golden Hurricane, like a cloud of dust. That makes sense to me. But I think the coach that wanted to name us when they chose the name is Georgia Tech was not called the Yellow Jackets at that time. They were called the Golden Tornadoes. So we went with the Hurricane. So, but anyway,
it works a lot better than naming yourself after a bunch of cheaters in the land rush, which is apparently what they've decided to do down in Norman.
And speaking of traditions, there's so many, all the Ohio State, traditions that we had. One of the cool traditions that Oklahoma has, because, the Boomer Sooner deal, and if you don't know this, Bill, the Sooners were the guys that during the land rush, you went and claimed your land. Well, the Sooners went out the night before and cheated and knew where the good land was. So the next morning when they shot the gun, they knew exactly where to go. So they got the nice land with the creeks or whatever they wanted.
Their flags were already in the ground, cheating.
So the Boomers went when you shot the gun in the morning, the boom, and the Sooners were the guys that cheated the night before. That's the history of Boomer Sooner. Well, what they do at Oklahoma on game day, on Fridays before game day, they at noon they shoot a gun and it lets everybody sit at their tailgate, which I think was just real pretty because everybody's kind of sitting there by the cars, kind of waiting. They're going to claim their little spot around campus. I actually, from a game day tradition, I actually thought that was pretty cool. It made sense. So. Little OU history as we wrap up the Buckeye show here, guys.
Getting a real Oklahoma history lesson here.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, man, appreciate you guys. A lot of respect.
All right. Thanks, appreciate Kevin Wilson for joining us on the podcast daily. hopefully it won't be the last time. Now that he's in charge of all of his media obligations at this point, and we'll just appeal to him directly for Tulsa updates maybe as we move forward. But we'll certainly be watching with great interest back from Columbus, and I'm sure that he'll be around here from time to time as well. And if not, then I'll just use his golf membership or help run up his tab, whatever he needs on the monthly deal there. But we appreciate Kevin Wilson greatly for joining us. For Bill, I'm Austin. We'll talk to you all later.